Welcome to Bobbin Talk. In this video, I will answer a viewer question on how to do a jumpsuit in Clo 3D. The first and possibly the easiest way to create a jumpsuit is to start with existing files. For example, here I have two different variations of a possible jumpsuit. Here on the left side, I have a cargo jacket with multiple pockets and pants with cargo pockets. The idea here is that you would connect the top and the bottom at the waistline into one garment. I would pay attention that they open the same way and that you can align the type of opening that is at the top and the bottom. Here you can see on the right side that I have a long sleeve button down shirt and more of a 5-pocket trouser that has the zipper and the button here. You could also work with something that's more of a jacket, this fleece jacket for example, or a bomber jacket, because it already has a zipper up front and it can be easier integrated into the pants. Now keep in mind that we still need to remove the zipper and integrate a zipper that would go from the top of the neck all the way down through the pants so it can fit appropriately the pants that you would go with. But what kind of jacket or what kind of pants you really choose, it really depends on the type of jumpsuit you want to create. Keep in mind that we can remove or add pockets, zippers, or other trims or design details as you wish. This is just our base, so we have something to start with. So I'm going to start building my jumpsuit by adding the files of the garments that I want, and that means this cargo jacket. I'm going to navigate to wherever it is and then I'm going to add it to workspace. Make sure that the load type is add and that it is a garment, and I would place it right in the center. I want to include size and pose from the garment file. While it's still selected, just grab it with the gizmo tool and adjust it. And also here in the 2D window, you can grab all of the garments and make sure that they are aligned or just place wherever you would like them to be. Next, I'm going to come here and add the cargo trousers, and I'll go through the same process. Right click on this file and add to workspace. Keep it as a garment, add, and here at 00, click OK. Open the pose and size from the garment file. Here in the 2D window, you can see that things are overlapping. While still all of my pattern pieces are selected, I'm just going to grab and move them lower so that they're not overlapping here. And here I'm just going to rotate to see if it's perfect, and if it isn't, I'm just going to grab it, make sure that all of the pattern pieces are selected. If you happen to lose them, you can select all of them here in the 2D window. And when I'm happy with the placement, I'm just going to simulate for a second there, and yes, these might fight a little bit because they're overlapping. The goal here is to now start cutting and editing, making this jacket shorter to the waistline, and you can grab it and see exactly how far you need to go. You could select all of the front pieces and move them at the same time. If you want to cut exactly at the waistline and keep this waistband, then I will place a dot here on the 3D window, and that will actually give me positioning exactly where here in the 2D window I can cut this garment at. It might be easier to just create an internal line as I can see exactly where my placement is, and then I can measure for the other one. You can hold the shift to have a perfectly flat line and double click or hit return to finalize that line. To make sure that the line is perfectly at the outline of the pattern, you can right click on that point and choose extend trim and add a point to pattern outline. This way I will have a definitive point here that will give me the distance. So if I am in edit pattern and I left click on this portion, it will tell me that this is exactly 21.54. When you're done with your measurement, you can delete these points and your jacket will shorten to wherever exactly needs to be. For the front piece, I have all of these pockets that will interfere with how I'm shortening the jacket. So I will simply delete them. Grab all of these pockets and I'm just going to delete them and the corresponding internal lines. So here I will go through the same process. All I'm concerned right now is that I cut my piece to match the line here. The distance on the back 24.5. I'm going to add a point here exactly at 24.46. Add a point split tool and I'm going to place it exactly here. I can see that it is 24.47, which is pretty much exactly the same. I'm going to do the same on this side, and I can either watch that length or I can right click. I will give 24.47, which will make it exactly the same as the other side. This is my guiding point to go across, and I can start from this point, hold the shift, and just go right across until the end of that pattern. I want to be sure that this line is exactly on the outline, so I'm going to right click on that. I'm going to extend trim and add point to pattern outline. This ensures that my point is exactly at the line and it's connected to the line. I can select all of the points at the bottom and delete them so that I can shorten my pattern. If you're not sure if they're exactly the same length, come to edit pattern tool. You can left click once on this line, 24.46, and check the measurements and go through the same process for every single pattern piece. I now have all of my pattern pieces shortened or corrected, and I can go to my 3D window and see if they are too short or too long. I'm going to simulate this garment. It looks like this is too short, and here I got them buttoned. I am going to just delete this placket. It is of no use to me. It looks like the seam is kind of pushing up and around. I'm going to come to edit sewing, and I can immediately see that this sewing line is actually extended all the way around, and that's why it's creating this angle here. Correct that by grabbing the last point and just bringing it back. And the same thing here, or you can just right click and delete that sewing line and create a new sewing line that works perfectly. That could be with the segment sewing tool, and that will connect this to the corresponding side seam on the other side. And you can see that the side seams are now relaxed. Next here for me is to see, do I have enough length of this jacket to actually connect to the pant? It looks like I need maybe a couple of more inches. So I'm going to grab all of these and extend them with an inch or two until I'm happy. I'm going to grab the edit pattern tool, grab just the length here, left click and hold, and also hold the shift. I'll start pulling down. As I am pulling down, I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to select what is the distance that I want moved. Only 2 inches, and I'll do the same for the other side. Select only the bottom points, left click, hold, start moving as you're holding the shift, and also right click once to give a specific distance to be moved. And I will do the same for the back, selecting just the bottom 2 points, left click, hold, right click, and give the exact distance that you want moved. I can see that this already changed a bit and it's a bit longer. I think I can give this another inch and be done with this. Whenever you're happy with your distance, start connecting the top and the bottom. Here, make sure that you recognize what is the closure here and how it will actually work with your top. Do I need this flap to be independently moving and opening? Do I need the zipper to actually go top to bottom? Do you have just buttons on top, zipper on the bottom? This is your choice. We just brought two completely different garments together that need to somehow work together. I'm simply going to stitch left front to left front of the pant, and then I will do the same for the back. Now here we need indication of where exactly is the side seam for the waistband. On the pant pattern you can clearly see it, but I need some kind of a marker that would tell me where this is on the waistband. Place a dot here, see where that dot is, then place your own point exactly in that area. And on the other side I can see the side seam here, so I'm going to place my dot right here. I have my add point tool selected here, and I will add a point here. So that will give me a good indication that I need to sew my back top pattern piece to the points from here to here. That's the sewing for my top. And then I'm going to come to my waistband and add it from here to the point. The back is now connected, and I see that this actually went to the bottom of the seam, so I presume that this seam is folded. If I connect this right now and simulate, it will get connected to actually the seam line. I don't want that. I want this to go to the edge of the fabric. So that means that I need to create an internal line here on the fold of the waistband. I'm going to remove this sewing line. This is not correct for right now. I'm going to delete sewing, and I'm going to use my guide to create an internal line that follows this exact length. Internal polygon tool, and I will come exactly from here to here, and that will serve as my sewing line. Let's work again with the free sewing tool. This is my top, and here I'm going to connect from one point to the other point exactly on the fold, and this looks like it is connected correctly. So I'm going to simulate and see what this would look like. I can see that my top is now connected to the waistband on the back. The front sewing is a little bit trickier because I have this overlapping waistband, and I can clearly see that here I have pattern pieces that go under and this one goes over. So it wouldn't be going to the edge of the waistband, it will be going exactly to the middle. So I need to indicate where that center is. Here I know I would like to sew this pattern piece. I can see when I click here what it highlights to this area of the waistband. You click here in the 3D window, you can clearly see where that location is in the 2D window. So I'm going to start with the free sewing tool. So I'm going to start from side seam to the edge of the front. And then here for the waistband, you can see it much easier in the 3D window. Look at the point moving and I can start going to exactly the point that I want. And I could finish this line in the 3D window or in the 2D window. You can see that the points are moving at the same time. I will place it right to where the zipper is, double click to complete in the 3D window or single click in the 2D window. I'm going to simulate one more time and see if that looks good to me. I like what I'm seeing right now. I'm going to follow the same exact process for the left side of this jacket. Left click to make sure that that's the correct piece, and also you can left click once on the waistband to see exactly where you need to be. I'm going to start from the side towards the center for the top. I will come to the 3D window, inspect exactly where it is. Point is here. Start building the line and see exactly where you need to be. And this looks like the correct placement. I'm going to left click once and finish that sewing line. Inspect what it looks like in the 3D window and then simulate to see if that is correct. My jumpsuit looks really good right now. And you can obviously see that there is a zipper that goes for the pant from here to here. Then there is a waistband, and I'm adding additional zipper. That's a design choice that I'm making right now. Maybe that is not what you want to do, and you can still come in here and change the design details, the pockets, stitching, or anything else that you would like. For finishing details here, this denim lightweight looks good to me. I'm going to left double click that so it appears in the object browser. I'm going to select all of my pattern pieces and assign this fabric, and now this is my denim overall. Now let's add a zipper to this garment. I'm going to come to the 3D window, select my zipper tool, and then add the zipper. I can also do it here in the 2D window, start from the top and finish all the way at the bottom, and then create the other side, double click. I'm going to simulate to see this zipper close. I am happy with my zipper, and obviously the only other thing I need to do here is remove my button. I'm going to delete each one of them. I would rather add my own design details, top stitching, decorative elements, pockets, anything else that you would like. But this is the first and easiest way to create a jumpsuit for men or women with existing garments. Subscribe to Bob and Talk, and please feel free to leave any questions for me. This one was a answer to a viewer question. Thank you.